And for me too, I woke up this morning wanting Keegan Murray. You know what I'm saying? I plan to go on BDE and preach all that shit. But you guys sold me on Shaden Sharp. Like I said, the fact that with LeBron, Kobe, all those names, that just sold me in.
And Keegan's good. I mean, he's, like I said, I hate saying he's whoever it is. I mean, when you're talking just trash in general, he's the safe pick. I hate saying that.
It factor.
Yeah, like you're almost saying like this guy's good, but he'll never be great. Keegan Murray can be great. I just see, I look at upside, and I see a higher upside in my opinion. Could be wrong. We'll check back in a couple of years, but I see a higher upside in Ivy and in Shaden Sharp. And that's just me. Keegan Murray's going to be a fantastic player in the league, and I think a lot of arguments that you make and people can make for Keegan is correct. Yeah. Like, you need guys like this on your NBA roster. Look at the conference finals. Yeah. There's plenty of Keegan Murrays all around. So, yes, I mean, to your point, Keegan Murray's a terrific prospect. I don't know. I can't sell myself to take him over a Sharp or an Ivy.
And that's the same thing with me is I woke up and I was watching Keegan Murray highlights. And I looked at him. I was like, wow, this is impressive. This is a 6'8" guy. He's taking people off the dribble. He's hitting these three-pointers. He looks good around the basket. His feet look good around the basket. He's finishing well around the basket. He's getting other teammates involved. But then I looked at the Shaden Sharp highlights, and I was like, this kid's going to be a star. I was like, this is a stud right here. And so, like you said, and that I brought that point up on BDE today is you look at the big men that are left in the conference finals right now. It's Bam Adebayo, Grant Williams, Dwight Powell, Draymond Green to a point. Right. And they're not these dominating presences in the paint. They're not these Jokic's, Joel Embiid's, Andre Drummond's. They're not these 7-foot guys. They are 6'8" to 6'10".
Guard multiple positions.
Guys who can guard, 3 through 5. They can switch off on a guard if they have to, and they can hit shots. And that's definitely important to have, but I think that's where we have Marvin Bagley. I think that's where we have a Jeremy Grant if we keep on to him and we fill that hole. I think what we need out of a big man is we need a paint defender. We need a guy that's going to block shots. We need a guy that's going to rebound. So, I mean, I know I've been saying this for fucking months now, but Mitchell Robinson, he's available. He fills that role. He's going to be a fourth of the price of a DeAndre Ayton, and I like what he does, and he's going to know his role. He's not going to be I don't want to label him as that, but a diva like DeAndre Ayton, where they need this many shots. I don't know if this is the case, but it's kind of what it seems like. He felt like he wasn't being used enough, and that's not Mitchell Robinson. He's going to go out there. He's going to block 3 shots a game. He's going to give you 15 rebounds, and he's going to catch 4 lobs from Cade Cunningham.
Oh, absolutely.
And if that's what we have, I'm taking that and give me Shaden Sharp, and that gives us 2 freak athletes. And
you haven't even spent money yet.
And we haven't spent any money yet.
That's what I'm saying. That's the big thing to hammer home, and that's why the Jalen Brunson discussions, I wanted the lottery to happen so we can clear some of this stuff up. Now you have the 5th overall pick. It's probably going to be a guard. No to Jalen Brunson already. I mean, it was previous already, but now that they're probably taking a guard, you can kind of know what they're going to do. Now everyone's talking about DeAndre Ayton. I'd have no problem if they didn't spend any money, big money this offseason, because you got to think, too, a lot of these acquisitions, look at the New Orleans Pelicans. Look what they did. I brought this up on BDE. Look what they did when they got CJ McCollum, and there's plenty more moves like that. I mean, you have to go through and actually look, but you can acquire guys midseason in the NBA. It's just the reality of it. Yeah. It's really the teams that have cap space available that always end up getting them. So that's what it comes down to. Don't overpay for anybody. But like you said, Mitchell Robinsons of the world. Like I looked at free agents the other day, just looking through them. I mean, there's some guys you can go get. Gary, I thought Gary Harris is a great selection.
Yes,
cheap option.
G-Dub, shout out Spartan Dog.
Another Brian Forbes. Another Spartan Dog. And that's no bias. I mean, these guys are just available and they're great, dude. And they fit the timeline. They're not 30 plus. Asking for, they want to be on a winning organization. You got to look at other things, and they can make some moves.
If what you really want, because again, like bringing it back to the big men in the playoffs now, we already have that in a Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Stewart, to where they're not these dominating presences in the paint,
stout towers.
But they can switch on different players. They can hit open shots. We saw Isaiah Stewart show that he can hit an open 3. It's not it's not the best. Still needs some work, and I do think we need more help rebounding. So those guys, you can bring them in when we need, but you can find a 7-footer anywhere. In the
Yeah.
NBA. You know, these guys are going to be coming up on deals too. Steven Adams, Jonas Valanciunas. These guys are going to be on the free agent market soon, and you can get one of those guys, plug them in. When you're playing a Joel Embiid, when you're playing a Jokic, you put in one of those 7-footers. You put in a Mitchell Robinson. You put in somebody to bang with him.
Absolutely.
And then when you're playing these teams that are, you know, the Warriors, the Raptors, teams like that, that's where, you know, Marvin Bagley and Isaiah Stewart slide in, and they're more adaptable, they're more changeable, switchable on defense compared to a dominating paint presence that's kind of, you know, obsolete in the NBA nowadays.
And and to your point, quickly, look at the conference finals and look at the centers.
Yes.
Bam Adebayo is the best center still alive, and he's not even 7 foot. He's like 6'9". So think about that for a second. Like the best. Where'd he go?
Fucking MVP center.
He went home.
Went home. He gone fishing.
Joel Embiid, he couldn't do it. He's banged up. I mean, a lot of other things.
There's those two guys, like, Jokic is missing his best two players.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid had a broken face in James Harden. So, I mean.
Well, I mean, to the Jokic point, and he did face the Warriors, and the Warriors were fucking absolutely deadly in that series.
He
But
didn't
like,
have Michael Porter or
look at what Luka's playing.
Jamal
with.
Murray.
You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's the point. Not
Luka
saying you
don't have
can't.
nothing, I guess.
Not saying you
more
can't win, because
expensive.
look at last year. The
Dinwiddie and
Suns
Brunson,
made the finals with DeAndre Ayton. So obviously centers are always a plus. But to the point, like that's just where the NBA, especially in this playoffs right now, what you're seeing is, to your point, guys that can guard, versatility all around the floor.
Yes.
I mean, you got your 6'10", you got like four guys
Grant
that are 6'7".
Williams,
Yes,
you know,
Grant, Jason Tatum,
Yeah.
Jalen Brown,
Yeah.
Marcus Smart. So
And that's the thing with Keegan too. I don't necessarily even see him as a big man. I see him as like a 3.
Yeah.
And we could jump into the 4 if need be. And like, I was just looking on the phone while you guys are talking. Like, I'm looking at his 3-point stats. Dude, he's shooting a higher percentage than Jaden Ivey.
yeah.
On nearly 5 attempts. The same amount of attempts as Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's 35%. Looking at Keegan Murray's 39%.
He can shoot.
And he's the guy on their team. So you know he's the defensive key. You know what I'm saying? When he's playing against teams. So it's like, I don't know, man. I like this kid. I feel like he'd definitely be a nice piece. He spaces the floor, especially when you got somebody like Cade. That's what he specializes in. You know what I'm saying? Like, letting guys utilize their strengths. I watched like tape on him this morning, the same way you were talking with Spence on Keegan Murray. And like, dude, he's even making cuts towards the basket in a non-space floor in Iowa because it's Big Ten basketball.
Yeah.
A bunch of big-ass white guys. There's no space. But he's still making the cuts, getting to the rim, you know what I'm saying, catching the ball and finishing it. And, like, I don't know, man, obviously he's super long. He's 6'8". He's got a rangy catch radius, you know what I'm saying, to even, like, catch the ball off.
And he can handle the ball, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching him take dudes off the dribble. He was taking it up full court. You know, obviously he's going to need to get better at taking the ball up the court if he wants to do that in the NBA life, because that's different. That when you got these guys pressing you and these great defenders all around you, you can't just be lazy bringing the ball up the court. But he'll still be able to take big guys off the dribble. He'll still be able to hit these shots. And if Shaedon Sharpe isn't there, I would love for us to get Keegan Murray, because that is the guy that would fill that Grant Williams role. That like I said, I compared him to Bam Adebayo, just like size wise and like quickness wise.
Yeah.
But Bam is a much better defender, and Keegan has a much better offensive game. Like he's a much better shooter.
Yeah, he could
than
play
Bam
outside,
I was thinking,
inside.
like,
Adebayo is a much better defender. So they're like yin and yang.
Otto Porter or
Somebody said Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is a good comp.
I think he shoots better than Kuzma too, to be honest with you.
Because that's what he is. I think Kuzma's a little bigger. I think Kuzma's like 6'10".
Yeah.
But but
Damn.
still,
I don't know he's fucking that big.
it's impressive, and that's what you need. You know, you need those guys. Obviously, we've seen that. We've brought it up 4 times already with all the bigs remaining in the playoffs. But I just think Shaedon Sharpe's going to be special.
Like, you can't go wrong with Keegan Murray. I mean, at worst case scenario, you're getting someone who is 6'8", who can shoot.
Yeah.
And can handle the ball, like everything we're going over. I mean, and I think he's got a higher defensive upside than people give him credit for too. I mean, he was doing things. I mean, steals, blocks. He was all over the floor. So a lot of upside there.
Because he's long.
I mean, if I had to name 3 guys that I'm okay with, because that's how it is right now. It's not really one. Those are the 3. I mean, it's Shaedon Sharpe. If I had to rank them, it'd probably be Shaedon Sharpe 1, Keegan Murray 2, 3, Jaden Ivey.
Give me some ganja. 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 Give me some ganja.